So why don't you describe like that pseudo mania you had
I think that
4 years ago?
Well, that was just one part of why she accused me of being manic.
Yeah.
My mom, she's a doctor, in case you guys don't know.
She didn't accuse him.
She straight up said you probably have bipolar disorder or something.
Yeah.
Dude, which is ridiculous for like because like again, forgot that she's a doctor, so she can like she's one of the only people who can actually say that to someone and it has some merit. Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Entropy Show. Aadil, how are you doing today?
Doing well. I'm doing well. It's a cloudy day in Berkeley. We got a lot of construction going on, but
dude, there's this like incessant jackhammer behind us.
yeah. They've been working on this street. It's Bancroft and Fulton if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
But
all right. So we actually recorded an episode of this podcast a couple weeks ago, but it's kind of red pill. So
yeah, why don't we talk about why we didn't decide to publish
the first episode of this podcast? So
Yeah.
the title of that episode is called "Do Looks Matter?" And I just felt like I was getting sick of the whole like dating, red pill, masculinity, men in 2024 content. So we may publish that episode at a future point. We may even revisit that topic, but I was getting sick of it. You know what I mean? I want to move on. We need to move forward. You know, I feel like enough ink and voice has been spilt on the plight of men today. You know,
I think you have that sentiment because you've been in a relationship for 3 years.
okay.
So despite being in a relationship, you still somehow consume a lot of this content.
Yeah,
It's not really relevant to you at all.
Yeah.
But it's just
it's kind of sickening.
why I don't think you think it's sickening.
I think it's
I
sickening.
think you think it's entertaining.
It is a little entertaining, but what's a good analogy for this? It's like, okay, you know what it is? After you're stuffed from a meal, it's sickening to look at pictures of food. That's what it is.
My question is, why were you even eating in the first place if you were already in a long-term relationship?
Meaning
Why
like,
were you even consuming like
dating
red
content?
pill dating content,
Yeah.
how to like
I
attract
don't know.
women at all? You were already in a relationship.
It's because, first of all, it just so happened that I entered a relationship before I knew any of this stuff. So none of this actually helped me. I think I entered a relationship before I even discovered like David Buss, Lex Friedman. Tate wasn't even around. Not that I don't consume Andrew Tate content.
Yeah.
But
I always
Hamza wasn't
got to
around.
make sure people know that.
Yeah, I just need to clarify that.
When
But,
I go on dates,
yeah.
I think 3 to 4 women have asked me, "Do you like Andrew Tate?"
Dude, that's like a common they need to check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this girl asked me like what podcast do you listen to? And
Yeah.
I said like, oh, I like the Tech Bro podcast, like Lex Friedman, all in.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, as long as it's not Andrew Tate, I'm cool with it. That's
Yeah.
what she said.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the question is, even if you do consume some content from Andrew Tate, I feel like you should just never say that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just negative expected value,
Yeah.
honestly. You
Yeah.
don't get anything out of it.
Yeah. It's like, I guess like saying that you consume Andrew Tate content to a girl is like a girl saying to a dude, all men are pigs.
Yeah.
It's something of the sort. And first of all, I don't think you should consume only Andrew Tate, but I feel like most men have come across some of his stuff. Obviously, no one 100% agrees with everything he says. Some of the stuff he has said, might strike a chord amongst people. But if someone asks you, do you watch Andrew Tate? You should probably just say no.
Yeah. But anyway, this isn't the Andrew Tate podcast.
Yeah.
So
This is the George
let's
Janko
talk
show.
about like what we want this show to be.
Yeah.
And we can also introduce ourselves.
Yeah. So for a while, we've been watching Ali Abdal and Tamer Abdal's podcast called Not Overthinking. And that podcast probably influenced me the most out of any podcast or media ever out there. And the reason it did is because it just changed the entire way I view the world. Because you get to see these two guys, two brothers even, both 1 year apart as well.
Yeah.
Both from a Pakistani background.
Pakistani background.
Yeah. Just 5 to 7 years older than us.
Yeah.
And it was so unfiltered, so uncurated. They were just talking about whatever they think. And they made so many implicit statements and philosophical discussions and ideas that it just completely rewired the way my brain works.
Yeah.
And
I think it's more of they introduced you to a different way of thought.
yeah.
And then you explored those ideas by yourself.
Yeah. Like they would just throw out names. Like the way that we just threw out names like Lex Friedman, Huberman, Ali Abdal, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
People listening to this will be like, oh, who are those people? And they might Google it and they might consume all of their content. So not overthinking was like the nexus in this graph that just like introduced us to all these other like media and stuff like out there, you know?
Yeah, but I think most of those people have become mainstream now.
Yeah.
We're talking about 4 to 5 years
Yeah.
ago. We started looking up like, basically we had like a podcast genesis like 4 to 5 years ago where we kind of awakened.
Yeah.
We opened our eyes
I
to
don't know if
like
it was
the world.
4.
I think it was start of COVID 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's reaching 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back then, like dudes like Lex were not as mainstream
Yeah.
as they are now. But
I think
most
just
people
started,
know.
right?
Most people know about this kind of stuff now.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
because of TikTok and everything. And I think
Yeah.
it was actually Andrew Tate that like made all this whole world go mainstream, I think.
I don't think he made the red pill world
Yeah.
go mainstream.
Yeah.
I don't know about the
Joe
podcast.
Rogan probably.
Yeah, the podcast.
I think it's Joe Rogan
world.
that did it
Yeah.
back then. Yeah. But we're starting this podcast because a podcast like this profoundly impacted our lives. And I would like to have that effect and carry it forward. And even though it's very unstructured, unscripted, we just bring a topic and talk about it. I think it does have the potential to impact people at a large scale. And also, the reason why I love Ali Abdal and Tamer Abdal so much is because of this podcast. His YouTube videos are fine, but I think the podcast is what really took that, personal connection to the next level, or parasocial relationship to the next level. So
Yeah.
I would like to create that effect amongst people as well.
Yeah, it's just very useful to listen to people that are, let's call it 3 to 5 years ahead of you in life. Because I think Ali Abdul actually has this concept, right? You don't want the guru to teach like the novice, right? You want the person who's slightly ahead of them to guide them because they know their problems. They were
Guide
just
versus
there.
guru.
Yeah, guide versus guru.
Yeah. Because, so I was talking to this guy who was at my university. His name is Tarun, and he's 3 years younger than me. And he's going through the exact same challenges that I experienced 3 years ago. Namely, he's trying to get a software engineering internship at like a big name company. And in his mind, he's like, this is the only thing that matters in my life. I need this because all of his friends are going for it. He mimetically is like, this is the only thing I care about. I have to get a good software engineering internship. And talking to me, what I'm like telling him, it's like where my brain is right now is like personal brand, YouTube channel, wealth, rather than money and freedom. So by him talking to me, I literally just dumped 10 different concepts when it came to like building a brand online onto him, like lead magnets. I like told him like what the funnel when it comes to content is and everything. So if I hang out with someone who's like 5 years out of me, there's all these learnings that they've built over the time that they can just give on to me. So I think it's profoundly valuable to make friends who are 5 years ahead of you. And if you can't do that, then listening to podcasts of those people has a very similar effect.
Yeah. So let's also introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. If you're a viewer of this podcast, you probably already know who I am, just because you probably came from my YouTube channel. Yeah. I think it's very unlikely that someone came from Aadil. Not in a bad way, but like,
I don't have
a
any.
brand.
I don't have a personal brand or any
Yeah, so
content or anything like that.
Maybe one of your friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're both brothers. We're about 1 year apart. I'm 22. Aadil's 21. And I was a software engineer up until a couple of weeks ago. And I've been working on this YouTube channel where I kind of break down how to get a job in tech and more like what I think is like self-improvement for people like me. And it's through the lens of tech because that's what someone like me was interested in 5 to 10 years ago. How about you, Aadil? What's your background?
Yeah, I'm Aadil. I recently graduated from UC Berkeley, studied EECS and math. We're actually here in Berkeley today.
Yeah, beautiful Berkeley.
Yeah. Beautiful day in the Bay. So in terms of my like professional background, I have experience in quant. So I'll be joining a high frequency trading firm this September, and I'll be a quant researcher. If you haven't heard of the field, it's basically you make trading algorithms using like statistics and math, and you can trade like different types of securities using these algorithms. Yeah. And then in terms of like my hobbies, we both have basically the same hobbies. Like we're both really into self-development and personal growth. We both love lifting and the gym. We both like music and singing. So I think we're pretty similar in terms of like
Yeah, in terms of outward
the
interests.
non-professional interests.
Yeah, even professionally, people would kind of group us in a similar environment. Like if
Yeah.
you're not in the tech niche, you would see me and Aadil as just working in tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of today's episode, we can just kind of get into that. Unless there's anything else you want to bring up before we jump right into it.
No, we can just start.
We can just start. All right. What is the point of waking up early? That's today's episode. And the inception of this has kind of like come across over the last probably 5 to 10 years. It's been culminating. And it's something that I think most people have thought about because everybody wakes up, right? And everybody has
hopefully
thought.
everyone.
Some people don't wake up. Yeah, but those people probably don't. They're not watching this podcast, those who don't wake up. So if you're watching this podcast, you've woken up from time to time.
Yeah.
And, society's structured on a 24-hour cycle, right? So, different people have a different relationship with that clock. And I think everybody has thought to themselves, like, everybody has put some thought as to when they should wake up in the day. And something that I came to probably 4 to 5 years ago was the benefit of just waking up early. And this probably happened after high school when going to college. And I watched Jocko Willink's cameo on Casey Neistat's YouTube channel, where he was like, Navy SEAL who wakes up at 4 a.m. And I watched that, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of anybody just thinking about waking up early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the video that that was the first time I also heard of someone that wakes up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
For video.
I'd never even heard of that before.
I don't think Jocko was not big back then. He started
he started around that time.
Around 5 years
He showed
ago.
up in Tim Ferriss and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because before that, I was just very brain dead about it. I also read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker around that time. That book just messed everything up for me in a good way. It just rocked the boat. Before that, I was a brain dead high schooler who I would just scroll YouTube on my phone or watch YouTube Minecraft videos till 11 to 12 every day, just go to sleep and then get up for gym at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just halt my brain development there.
Yeah.
But then watching that video just kind of showed me, wait, there's a guy out there. There's a man out there named Jocko Willink, who's a Navy SEAL, and he elects to get up at 4 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
And that just changed everything. So that was the pre-framing that wait, it is possible to decide when you wake up, and there are people out there who elect to wake up at 4 a.m. And then I read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and that was another framing in my mind, just wait, sleep is important. And it's important to work on your sleep hygiene, just like exercise, diet, and learning. Sleep is one of the pillars of just health and life in general. So both of those kind of pre-framed me into considering sleep. And I believe I'm biologically an early person. That's my guess is that I'm a biologically early person.
You have an early chronotype.
Yeah, that's what my guess is, because it's never been difficult for me to fall asleep and wake up early. Not like I see it for other people. I think we can kind of talk about your background on this, Aadil, but as soon as I decided it's good to wake up early, I started to experiment with it, and I found that I felt much better, even if I slept the same amount. So if I went to sleep at midnight and woke up at 8 a.m., and I just kind of thought about my general just awareness, my general sense of well-being on that day, my ability to focus and get things done and show up on my relationships in my life, I found that it was probably 20 to 40% worse compared to me going to sleep at 9:30 and waking up at 6:30 or 6. Or let's just say I would go to 9:30 and wake up at 5:30. That's still 8 hours. I just felt much better when I woke up early.
Why don't you talk about when you really made this change to your sleep schedule? I think it was about, again, 4 years ago when COVID started.
Yeah.
And our mom actually accused you of being manic.
Yeah.
Because you were so you were so interested in sleep optimization, health optimization, working.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you describe that pseudo mania you had?
I think that
4 years ago.
Well, that was just one part of why she accused me of being manic.
Yeah.
My mom, she's a doctor, in case you guys don't know.
She didn't accuse him.
She straight up said you probably have bipolar disorder or something.
Yeah.
Dude, which is ridiculous for because again, forgot that she's a doctor, so she can she's one of the only people who can actually say that to someone, and it has some merit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she said that it was partly because I was oh, I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna get work done. I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna have a morning routine, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And partly because I just had a lot of big ideas for what I wanted to do in this world, and I think, especially in the Desi community, it's often, I think our parents are better about it now, but the immediate reaction in the household when someone leaves their station is kind of like crabs in a bucket. You think you're better than us. You clean your room, you get up early, you make your healthy food.
I don't think it was that.
Yeah.
I don't think she thought you think you're better than me.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Why would she get angry at somebody who's waking up early?
I think that she thought you were delusional about your ideas.
It was ridiculous to wake up early.
She said delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Yeah. I think the sleep, the productivity, the schedule is just part of that.
I just think, you know what I think? I think delusions of grandeur is like logical explanation to the emotional reaction of someone just being different.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Like it's kind of a justification. Like, yeah, I agree sometimes, but I think in this case, if you objectively analyze what I was doing, which is trying to get up early, reading books, really focusing on my like physical health, being like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work on this, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, I'm gonna like make money online, do all this stuff, watching Oli Abdal.
Yeah, well, you actually showed her your entire Notion database,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "You're definitely bipolar."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think there was a conversation where I like screen shared my Rome research setup on the TV in the living room.
Yeah.
I gathered the family around. I gathered me, Aadil, Arsh, and both my parents.
Yeah.
And I had to like screen share my Rome research setup.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're definitely old. And I think that was also a pitch to let my dad let me spend $100 a month on software.
Yeah.
That was a huge problem in our household because I wanted to just like buy Rome research. That was like $15 a month or something. I wanted Notion. I wanted all these to-do list apps. I wanted the premium subscription. And my dad was like, especially my dad, he was like, dude, you can't be spending $100. That's too much. You can't be spending $100 a month on software. And eventually I had to like basically do a sales presentation at 19 to let me do that. And then I think after I showed that, my mom was like, fine, whatever, just like spend your $100 a month. And now looking back, $100 a month is literally nothing. Like it kind of rounds to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're all spending like thousands a month on self-improvement stuff right now.
Yeah, like we were actually calculating this.
Yeah.
I think I spend $2,000 to $3,000 a month on just like private lessons or classes,
And just coaching and just
coaching in general,
just self-improvement
Yeah.
activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably spend maybe like $1,000 a month. But if you include YouTube in that, that's like several thousands a month. But I'd say like personal development that's not YouTube or business based. I guess like I do personal training, I do singing lessons, I do dance lessons. So I'll just like say around $1,000 a month.
Yeah,
I'm
including
spending
your
on this
gym
stuff.
membership, stuff like that.
Yeah, around
Yeah.
$1,000 a month. But yeah, if we go back to the waking up early thing, I kind of experienced this like intellectual renaissance about 4 years ago, and part that manifested into one of the pillars is waking up early. And just anecdotally and experientially, if I wake up early, I know I feel better, and this is consistent, and this is stable. It's not something that changes almost ever. The only time where I might feel better if I sleep in is if I sacrifice the amount of sleep to wake up early. So let's say I go to sleep at midnight and I wake up at 6 a.m. Okay, then we're going to like the 6 hours of sleep territory, and then I might feel worse. But why don't you talk a bit about Aadil, about how your experience of waking up early? 'Cause it's
Wait,
a lot
so
different than
before we
mine.
talk about me, do you want
Yeah.
to talk about when you actually made your change for your sleep schedule? So it
Yeah.
sounds about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And have you stuck to it for the last 4 years?
I think so. It changes a lot. I actually track my sleep so I can look at this. Right now, what happens is that whenever I travel, it kind of messes my sleep schedule up. So I'm in Pacific time right now because I'm visiting Aadil in San Francisco, Berkeley area. When I go back to Central time, it will take like a week or two to kind of like adjust and move it back. But I always fluctuate between 9:30 and 10:40 every night, no matter what.
PM.
PM. From time to time, I will like in the last year, there's probably like probably five or less times where I had like a social engagement or I hung out with some friends and it went to like the midnight territory. But 95+% of the time, I'm going to sleep between 9:40 and 10:30, and I've like stuck to that. I've maintained it, and I will usually get up between 6 and 7:20 every
Yeah.
morning.
I think you're one of the only people I know, if not the only person I know, who actually has a consistent sleep schedule
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons why that is the case. One reason is because I think most people think it's weird to care about your sleep.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, most people that's like a very weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
But
not
even for
considered
people
normal
who
at this
care
age.
about their sleep, I care about my sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yet I don't have a consistent sleep schedule.
So why is that the case?
It's a good question.
So what about you? When do you go to sleep and wake up every
Yeah,
day?
so obviously like I went through the same sort of sleep renaissance as Aman around the same time.
Yeah.
Listened to the same podcast with Matthew Walker.
Like Matthew Walker, Joe Rogan is a big
yeah,
one. That was a huge
Matthew
one.
Walker, Peter Attia, all 6 episodes.
Yeah.
yeah. Huberman's month of sleep when he just started
His
in 2021.
month of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why don't I have a consistent sleep schedule?
Yeah, why don't you
Let
have
me
a
describe my
consistent
sleep schedule. I would say I rarely am in bed more than 8 hours, 8.5 hours. It's probably around 7 to 8 every day. and I'm probably only asleep for 6.5 to 7 of those hours.
Okay, but why?
But why? I think genetically, I just don't have your early morning chronotype. I think that's part of it. That's definitely not the whole story, though.
Yeah.
I think that since I've been bulking for like 5 years, yet it's very hard. It's very hard for me to eat a lot.
Yeah.
So I always procrastinate eating, and then it comes nighttime, and I have like 900 calories left to go for the day. And like meal timing influences sleep, like your circadian rhythm.
Yeah, like you get blood that rushes to the gut and increases your heart rate and activates
so it messes up my sleep.
nervous system.
Messes up my sleep.
Yeah,
and it delays my sleep time.
Yeah,
right. I'm like sitting there at like 11:20 p.m.
Yeah,
I have a tub of Greek yogurt in front of me.
You have some plain bread in front of you.
I'm eating Greek yogurt straight from the tub, right? Yeah. With a spoon.
Yeah,
and some plain bread.
Yeah, get your calories for the day.
Yeah, so fixing the eating schedule will probably make a big difference.
Why don't you talk about what you used to be like? Because I feel like it used to be a lot, even like more extreme.
I don't think I really had a consistent sleep schedule ever in my life. Well, I can't remember before I was like 14. So let's.
What
just
about
like
high school? What did you
in high school
get up?
I think before age 15, I had a good sleep schedule. I would sleep at like 9:30, get up at like 7. It's pretty good.
You sleep at 9:30?
Yeah, 9:30, 10. Got up at 7.
Okay.
I remember
the teenage years.
I remember texting this girl when I was like 15.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, I have to go to sleep now." It was like 9:30. It's like, "Wow, you sleep so early." Yeah.
I think that because you hit puberty a bit late.
Yeah, I did hit puberty a bit late.
So when you hit puberty, it's probably like 15, 16, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think throughout the later years of high school, it was more like 11 to 6:30. I actually remember we had to show up to earlier bird gym at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And I would
draconian.
I would get up exactly at 6:21.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I knew that it takes me about 20 minutes. No, it was 6:23 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, 6:23.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to be in the gym at 7.
Yeah.
It takes 12 minutes to drive to the school.
Yeah.
So you have to leave at like 6:46.
Yeah.
So I gave myself exactly 23 minutes,
Yeah,
which is exactly enough time
Yeah.
to like show up on time, which I didn't a lot of the time, but narrowly missed it a lot of the time.
Me and Aadil would sneak in every morning. Like probably every 1 out of 3 mornings would be like slightly late.
The teachers like doing attendance. They would make you walk the
Yeah, you have to
gym
walk the
floor.
track.
Yeah, walk the track.
It's
right?
like a prison camp.
Yeah.
Walk the track.
So we had this friend who picked up one of our other friends, Nabil.
Yeah.
And the gym teacher knew that they were carpooling.
Mm-hmm.
So our for lack of a better word, like our smarter friend, right? He would be able to sneak in. But this other dude was like so loud when he came in, he would like throw his bag down. So
we'd show up at like 7:02 to 7:03 every day, and we'd be marked tardy probably 1/2 to 1/3 of the time.
Yeah. But anyway, coming back to my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I think I really noticed a big delay in my sleep time when I had more freedom in life. And that happened when I started college. In high school, like you have to show up at 8, 10 a.m. Which like, again, I would show up at like 8:08, 8:09.
Well, let's talk about COVID was a big part of this because you were at home actually in your freshman and sophomore years of college.
Yeah, so
or high school and senior.
The start of COVID, March 2020, was when my sleep schedule kind of went to shit. If you were to say it like that,
you went to hell.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because in high school, like if you have to show up at 8, 10 a.m., you're not going to sleep at 1, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like unlikely. Like the worst, it'll be like 11:30, 12 at the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in COVID, you don't really have to show up to anything. It's all online. My first year of college was completely online. I didn't have any classes in the morning. Even if I did, I probably wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're skipping your classes in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends how disciplined you are.
Mm-hmm.
You have infinite freedom. You work for yourself. Yet you have a consistent sleep schedule. Whereas with me, my sleep schedule became notably worse once I had more freedom.
Yeah. It's like it's like how Captain America, like the super soldier serum just reveals who you are.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like freedom. That's like freedom over your schedule just reveals who you are and it just makes you more extreme. So if you're a extreme late night person and the only thing that was keeping you grounded was the high school and college sleep schedule. I know people out there who sleep at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. They have an inverted sleep schedule because they just completely let go of everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think those people are genetically built to sleep at 5 a.m. I think it's just bad habits.
Yeah, but like the lack of a schedule revealed those bad habits and discipline.
Yeah.
Lack of discipline, if you will.
There's also this like ancient Chinese proverb about sleep. Like it says something about how people that feel like they have less control over their lives tend to push their sleep time back to feel like they have
Sleep
more
procrastination.
Yeah, to feel like they have
is
more
the
control.
psychological term for that.
Yeah.
So we have another brother. His name is Arsh. And he actually told me in high school that the only time he feels peace in his life is in the night. So he doesn't want to let that go by going to sleep and being forced to go to high school
Yeah.
the next morning. So he'll procrastinate. He'll be like at 10:30, 11 p.m., the whole house is asleep. Our parents are asleep. And he has the control to actually do what he wants for once in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the case for me though. I have infinite freedom. I can do whatever I want right now.
Yeah.
I'm off of college. Even when I was in college, I didn't go to my classes. I could do whatever I want.
Right now you have more. I feel like you're more disciplined when it comes to sleep nowadays compared to like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I'm telling you, there was one night where I went to sleep at 9 p.m. and woke up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, as you were on, as we discussed.
Yeah, I was on like the Jocko routine or something.
Yeah.
This was like early COVID.
It was June 2020.
Yeah, June 20. This is like a couple months into COVID. I straight up went to sleep at 9 p.m. and woke up at like 5 a.m. And Aadil knew I was on this routine, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell what happened that night, Aadil?
So that night, I was signing up for my classes at Berkeley. And somehow like I was just really excited about it. So I went through all the classes and I read all the requirements for everything and tried to plan out like, oh, I'm going to take this, right? Back then I actually cared about what classes I was taking.
What, you were like a freshman in college or something?
This is the summer before my freshman year. So you got to plan out your stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like AI wasn't a thing. Like ChatGPT wasn't there yet. That's a whole other conversation anyway. But basically that's relevant because I feel like technical knowledge is not going to be that useful in the next 10 to 20 years, right? Because of AI.
Yeah, carry on.
But anyway, back then I thought, oh, technical knowledge is going to be, I'm really into this. Mm-hmm. So I was super excited about planning out my classes. And I just spent the whole night thinking about like what classes to take. Like the whole night planning everything out. If I could double major.
And you were in some weird bedroom in our house too.
I was like in the downstairs guest bedroom.
Yeah,
just like
that was your cave. You had this like cave in the downstairs guest bedroom.
So it like hit 12 a.m., 1 a.m. I was like, oh, I should probably go to sleep. So I tried to go to sleep there. And I just kept thinking about my classes.
You had like a manic episode that night or something.
That's the only time I didn't sleep in the night.
Yeah.
That was the only time. Like a manic episode thinking about planning out my classes here. But anyway, so at 5 a.m., I walk back upstairs and I knock on Aman's door. He opens the door and I was like, I didn't sleep at all tonight.
This is like, I'm like 19 and he's 18.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, I'm 17.
You're 17. I'm 18 and he's 17, okay?
Yeah.
And Aldous like, yeah, Aman, I didn't sleep at all. I called our other friend Akshay and he was helping me like at 3 a.m.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because I was trying to there's this class at Berkeley called Data 8. It's very popular now. If you want to do data science, you have to take it. And basically, the enrollment for it was stalled, but I really wanted to get into this class. So I called my friend and made a Python web scraper to send me an email when the class opened back up. That's also what I was doing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and that's probably the first time you've done anything like that before.
Yeah.
Like use programming to actually make a project for some real world tool. That's probably the one and only time you've done that.
Yeah, the only time.
The one and only time you've actually used your computer science skills or something that's not career related or class related.
Yeah, I think so, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was kind of a crazy occurrence because like this guy, it was literally like two ends of the spectrum. It was like the North and South Pole. I had gone to sleep at like 9 p.m. I was bright and early at 5 a.m. in my pajamas. And I hear like a knock on my door. I'm like, it's like, he's like, we call each other Oi, by the way.
Yeah, it's like a nickname.
Yeah, it's like a nickname, Oi, Oi. So Otto was like, Oi. Oi. I'm like, what the hell? It's like 5 a.m. He just dropped his water bottle. Anyway.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so yeah, and then he's just like waking me up at 5 a.m. And so I think that was kind of like the peak of it all in terms of your extreme nighttime behavior.
Yeah, it was like a mania.
Yeah, that was, you were in like the haze of mania that night and you couldn't sleep.
I remember my first semester of college, I was in this club at Berkeley called Computer Science Mentors. And basically like you're a tutor if you're in the club and you teach 5 students. I was teaching discrete math. And I remember my teaching session started at 10 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. And I would wake up at like 9:55 to go teach these students at 10 a.m. And that was my first semester of college. So yeah, I think I'm definitely better compared to
that was extreme. And
3.5 years ago.
I don't understand. Like, I think maybe it was the food related or something, or maybe it was like anxiety for classes or something. Because like, yeah, the whole entire family would go to sleep and you'd just be sitting in the living room on your phone watching YouTube and eating like bread and stuff. Yeah. And then our parents were like very upset about that because like, I think it's multiple things. I think a lot of it is that this guy's just being weird with his routine.
Yeah.
Because like my mom was also kind of anti me waking up at 4 to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So it was like not necessarily related to this is bad for you, but our parents were like very upset that Aadil used to sleep in until 10 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because our parents are getting up at 6 a.m. for work because they're both doctors. So my dad would like sometimes leave at 5 or 6 in the morning to go to the hospital. And my mom was leaving at like waking up at 6 or 7 a.m. So they'd be like banging on Aadil's door, like, Aadil, wake up! Aadil, wake up!
Yeah. That was more high school. They just left me during that first COVID.
But they were definitely upset about it. They're really pretty pissed off about it. I think they still don't like your sleep schedule.
Yeah. They were upset about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did that change? I mean, you had a pretty weird. I still think, or right now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm living here for a few days. I'm shocked that you go to sleep around the same time as me.
I'm just doing that because you're here.
Like you're going to sleep at. Honestly, one of our biggest arguments when we're traveling together is the fact that I want to sleep at 10 and
I want to sleep at like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to wake up at 6 and he wants to wake up at like 8 to 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what changed? Like,
how
can you?
Well, you're visiting now, so I'm just doing. Oh, we can talk about this. This was actually a point we just had.
Yeah.
So something I realized is that I'm only happy in life when I make progress. When I'm in a state of making progress, I'm happy. When I'm in a state of not making progress,
is positive.
This derivative is positive.
Yeah, it means you're.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah,
I thought you said the third derivative is positive.
No, the derivative. Is
yeah,
positive.
the derivative is positive, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, second derivative as well, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if my derivative of my, I don't know, my life function.
Yeah, it's positive. Then you feel really happy about that.
Then I'm happy. Yeah. If it's like 0 or like slightly negative, which I mean, this is called the entropy show. I think if you don't do anything, you just have a baseline negative derivative, right?
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't use these math terms, but people understand.
That's fine. I think they're all computer science students anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of realized like mentally, I'm just happy when I'm making progress. And my happiness is pretty proportional to the amount of progress I'm making. And it's probably like a weighted linear combination of like the different fields I care about in life. And the weights are like based on how much I care about them. Like my happiness, right? Yeah, it's like if you want to make like my happiness function, it's like a linear combination of the derivative.
We don't need to forget the word linear combination. Okay, this is gonna be like senior in high school is our math term. Okay, keep going.
Yeah,
not you senior in high school, the normal senior in high school. For context, Aadil took linear algebra in like 11th grade or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, keep going.
So, yeah, I realized that I'm mainly happy when I make progress in areas of life that I care about. And I'm more happy when I'm making more progress and less happy if I'm not making progress or losing progress, right? But we also realize like you just don't want to do any work in the night. When the night comes around, it's like dark outside. You're just kind of sitting there like, I don't want to do anything right now.
Yeah. Like your willpower or your discipline or even your motivation to do anything. Let's say there are a few things someone can do. Let's say one are like consume social media, watch TV, smoke weed, drink alcohol, all these like base behaviors, all these just like dopaminergic base, just animalistic instincts.
Yeah. like the instant gratification behaviors.
Instant gratification versus the, pursuit of something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
Like working on your studies, your classes, or applying to jobs, or studying, or working on a business, or working out, or doing anything that like is for the long-term benefit.
Yeah.
You have like different capacity to do these different things. And both of us have noticed that somehow during the day, you just have a much greater capacity to do more long-term delayed gratification activities.
Yeah.
And it just like linearly, or I don't know about linearly, but it just decreases throughout the day.
Yeah.
At a
somehow the day makes you want to work.
Yeah. Something about like the morning, and it probably has to do with like your brain chemicals, like your acetylcholine, your dopamine, your cortisol that's happening in the morning when you first, the cortisol spike when you first wake up.
Yeah.
Gives you that ability to focus more easily. But even you just are more interested in doing work in the morning
Yeah.
for some reason. At least
And
like,
during the daytime in general.
Yeah.
I even noticed like I just feel better when I practice singing when there's light outside.
Yeah.
And when it's dark, I just don't enjoy practicing as much.
Yeah.
I just don't like it as much. I don't know, like it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are people out there who somehow enjoy working throughout the night. Like I know Brandon Sanderson, one of our favorite authors and one of the best fantasy authors today. He actually goes to sleep at like 5 or 6 a.m. and he'll write the whole night. So he is incredibly proficient doing that schedule.
Yeah.
But I think for the vast majority of people, and if you are just coping right now and you're like, no, I like to stay up till 4 a.m. Like I feel good about myself. Like you're probably coping most likely about that. But we both made the realization, and I kind of like noticed this before, but it kind of like very solidified during this trip, that both of us felt the same thing. That when the sun went down around 6 or 7 p.m.,
yeah, it was
there
like
was
6
nothing
p.m.
left to do.
We were sitting on the couch, we're like, dude, let's just not be conscious now.
Yeah. Let's just knock ourselves out right now. Like I think it's time to just not be conscious anymore.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because I'm still like kind of jet lagged on Central Time.
Oh yeah.
So like, yeah.
But I had that same feeling, same sentiment.
Yeah. I think another part of it is that we just don't engage in nighttime activities anymore.
Anymore. We never started.
I think we used to like watch TV and stuff. Like,
I thought you meant like going out at night.
Yeah. Like when we were kids, we used to like watch TV and watch movies and stuff like that. We used to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I still do enjoy that with friends. But I think by myself, I just don't like that anymore. And I don't find joy in meeting and just watching TV by myself much anymore. And another thing is that usually people like they'll watch TV shows in high school, and then as they go to college, they replace that with like socializing. They'll like go out, they'll go to parties, they'll go to clubs, they'll go to events. And we just somehow just don't have a desire for that. And I think it's because like we know no matter what it is, to sacrifice 1 hour to use an hour in a night to sacrifice an hour in the morning is to sacrifice that progress. And that's why we just never want to make that swap.
Yeah, I think you can argue that hanging out with friends is making progress socially.
Yeah. But even then,
but we're saying like in the case in which there's nothing going on that you were invited to.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's 6 p.m. now.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I don't feel like working. I know I would work better in the morning. Like might as well just go to sleep. Just get it done with. So I can be conscious during the hours in which I'm working, and the hours therefore since I'm working, I'm happy.
And you can be conscious during the hours where you feel your best.
Yeah.
Just psychologically. I think there's another thing where people just don't like their work, and that's why they don't want to go to sleep and have to work again. And I think when I was working as a software engineer up until a few weeks ago, I experienced this feeling where it's like you go through the whole work day and it's like 5:30 or 6 p.m. and now you're at home. Then you eat dinner, you go to the gym, it's like 8 or 9 p.m. Then I call my girlfriend, it's like 9:30, 10. It's like I have to do this all over again. I have no time for myself. I have no time to do the activity. Like, sure, the gym is nice. Like I would like going to the gym and I like, eating dinner, but I just felt like I didn't have the freedom to actually work on the things I wanted to because the workday was actually stolen from me. That's another topic. It's like, if you work for another company, they are requiring you to be there during your most productive hours. Yeah. They're kind of like stealing your life force at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you have to be here from 9 to 5. There's a reason why they don't want you from 5 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They want you during your most alert and productive hours so they can like siphon that life energy from you.
Yeah. Working is just trading life energy for money at the end of the day.
It's like it's almost as if I also think people cope a bit when they're like, oh, I just love my job.
Yeah. It's like, bro, out of the search space of potentially infinite things you could be doing with your time.
Yeah.
Is your job even in the top 1%?
You just somehow stumbled into the thing.
Yeah.
Where you can just like plug in. I actually think like going to your job is like going to like a little stasis tank.
Yeah.
Where like someone like they plug into your brain and they just like steal your life force for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And they give you a check at the end.
If you could just not be conscious during your work hours.
Yeah.
Would you like just like turn off your consciousness?
I think
is there some like short film about this?
Oh, it's called Severance.
Yeah.
It's a TV show. And the concept of Severance, the Apple TV show, and people I love the show. That was very interesting.
You watched it?
Yeah. I watched it with my girlfriend.
I watch TV shows. You don't watch TV?
I watch TV shows with my girlfriend. That's the only people I watch TV. That's the only person I watch TV with nowadays. Yeah. And I actually really enjoy that. That does add meaning to my life.
Yeah.
But I watch this show, right? And the premise is that there are these workers and they do this like procedure on their brain where as soon as they enter like the premise of the workspace, some chip activates and then like shuts down their consciousness and then awakens another consciousness. So there's two guys living in this body. One guy that's only conscious from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the other guy that's conscious from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. And what it ends up being is like they're completely different people. Because one guy's entire life is just 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and explores like a lot of the ethical dilemmas. Like you're gonna trap this one guy to do the job the whole day. Well, you could just like enjoy the night. So I think it's often like a fun conversation to have with the other software engineers at the office. Would you do severance or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
I definitely would.
really, you'd
Dude,
want to
like-
lose those hours.
Dude, like I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy sitting at the computer staring at C++ for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, but like seriously, you'd actually like brain dead yourself during that time, and then it's a wake up at 5 p.m.
We just discussed like we would brain dead ourselves after 6 p.m. at night.
Dude, this is horrible. It's like you, because like okay, you did that. Then your entire life.
We
would be after
literally
5 p.m.
just said I would rather be unconscious than awake after 6 to 7 p.m. because I'm not making progress in my life. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
then if
sitting
you
there.
severance yourself, then you'd be only awake when you're not making progress.
Yeah, but we're saying in the context of working a corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
In that context, you'd probably be making progress from 5 to 9 because that's the only way you can make progress. So you had just said, me and my two friends sit in my room and or my apartment talking till 2 a.m. But you also said that you value your
It
sleep
happens
schedule.
under 5 times over the year.
Okay.
And it would happen more often previously. And basically what would happen is that I'm not saying it's a lot of fun to do that. Like I very much enjoy those conversations. It's like very enjoyable. But what often happens is they both really enjoy that because I think Vithi's kind of neutral on all these things. She'll go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 6. If like when I go to Vithi's house to like visit her and her family for like a weekend, I'll go to sleep at 10 and she'll wake up like at like 7 a.m. She doesn't really care. She'll kind of just like do whatever the other people are fine with. She's like very neutral. But Pranav specifically, his favorite hours are between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is a weird situation, right? Because to him, it's like he loves those like deep kind of meaningful social connections that happen at that later hours of the night. Because I think your inhibitions are naturally down around that time. It's like alcohol does it even more, but it's like your like your prefrontal cortex is like at a minimal like ability, and that's why we don't like it, because like we like the feeling of progress, right?
Yeah.
So like our rational logical ability is reduced in the night, so we're like, let's go to sleep and get that juice back up, right? But to him, he likes it because it like lowers his inhibitions and he can be more emotional around that time. Whereas like he's very self-conscious, or people feel more self-conscious during the day about talking about like intimate and deep conversations.
Yeah.
Like people are less likely to open up over morning coffee compared to like late night drinks.
Yeah.
And drinks do it even more. But even like, let's say someone was like having dinner, like a close dinner versus a breakfast. People are more likely to like open up about their deep emotions around the dinner time.
Yeah.
So this is like a constant conflict because first of all, I'm a very open person. So I'll talk about these topics at any time of day, no matter who it's with.
I would also say I'm a very open person.
Yeah. I have like nothing
Dude,
against...
literally, I have nothing to hide. Like,
Yeah.
ask me anything, bro.
Yeah, like I'm a very open guy. Like I will talk about these deep topics any time of day.
Yeah.
But most people are not comfortable talking about their like vulnerabilities at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a constant conflict, and like he really enjoys going to sleep late, and I really enjoy going to sleep early. So we've had to come to the compromise of like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
is like the cutoff. And actually, I had to talk to my therapist about this because I had to put my foot down. And one thing I realized is that we do lose those deep moments in the night, but it's fine because I care about my progress.
Yeah.
I'm basically giving up now. You know what it is? I'm trading those like social meaningful connections in the night for like the feeling of progress during the day. And last time I visited Vithi and Wasa a couple weeks ago, first of all, Pranav was not there.
Okay.
But second of all, I just went to sleep at like 10 p.m. every night and woke up at 7 a.m. And me and her never just like talked in the night at all. We only talked during the day, and it was fine. So I think one thing is that one lesson that I've kind of realized is that you just have to put your foot down and just like people will adapt to you. All right. So in terms of what we've come to a conclusion here, in terms of your takeaways, one is that you have to understand, do you actually care about the feeling of progress or not? And if you care about the feeling of progress, for 95% of people, that feeling of progress and occurrence of progress is at its peak in the morning hours and when the light is in the sky. And I think Ali Abdal's medical school teacher once said to him, an hour after 5 or an hour at 9 a.m. is worth 2 hours after 5 p.m. So your capacity is just much higher in the morning.
We're talking about progress in terms of like work-related progress or skill acquisition.
Anything you care about.
I think you can make more social progress in the night.
Social progress happens higher in the night.
For example, right? I like one of my goals as of now is to like talk to more people. So I could actually make more social progress in the night. But for 99% 95% of things, like just not social related, you're going to make more progress in the day.
I also think
Most
health and
likely.
wellness is better when you go to sleep and wake up earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well. Like gym progress is better, and they've proven this with your growth hormone spikes based on your chronotype as well.
Yeah.
Like an hour before midnight for gym progress is like worth 1 to 2 hours after like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a huge benefit. You have to think to yourself like, do I care about this? Have I noticed this? And you have to force it upon other people. So, and you will make enemies, not like actual enemies, but people will get a little pissed off, right? Like, for example, Aadil had to have a conversation with his friend group here because they would come to this apartment and they would all hang out at like midnight. It was kind of the spot because there's like a nice couch over there, kind of nice spot. But you kind of have to put your foot down and be like, I need to go to sleep and get up early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else about sleeping and getting up early?
Oh, another thing is that I think sleep is related to like the IQ meme as well.
Yeah.
So, like,
the midwit meme.
Yeah, the midwit meme. Have you guys seen the midwit meme? We'll put it on the screen right now. There's like the left side, which is like the dumbass.
Yeah. Like the troll.
The simpleton guy,
Yeah.
right? The pleb, like the simple farmer.
Yeah.
Like on the left. Not
Yeah.
that farmers are stupid, but like in this analogy, this guy's to the left, and he's like, the early bird gets the worm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the guy in the middle, like the midwit, this guy's like Twitter, Gen Z, kind of like
Yeah.
like modern guy, like postmodernist kind of
Yeah.
guy. And this guy, he's like, no, bro, like it depends on your like what you feel the best, like you perform optimally, like people should go to sleep when they want to, like everybody's different, like you should
Yeah.
go to sleep late and wake up late, like it's fine. Why like society's wrong for forcing people to get up early, like have like faith for the be humble, like you should go to sleep whenever you want to and wake up whenever you want to, and it's fine as long as you're doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then the Jedi on the right, the Alakazam Jedi wise guy's like, the early bird gets the worm.
Yeah.
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 And I feel like you kind of went through that. in your
Yeah, I would say
behavior.
I went through that over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because like we used to argue about you going to sleep early in the hotel room. But now you'll just adapt, you'll just go to sleep early.
Yeah.
But like why were you against going to sleep early? I still don't understand.
Dude, I think it's the whole Chinese proverb thing that I like watching YouTube on my phone for like 30 minutes or something or an hour
Yeah.
back then.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why is that not the case anymore?
Because I need to make progress. That's why.
So you recognize that
back then I just like didn't care about my
Yeah.
progress. Yeah.
you recognize that like your YouTube time is like less important to you than the actual progress you care about in your goals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, also like we both realized like time is so finite. Like you actually can't even do anything in a day.
I feel like there's no time.
Like
to do
there's
anything.
no time.
It's already
in a
like
day.
noon.
You
The morning's gone.
literally you can do like 2 things in a day and that's it.
Yeah. There's like no time to do anything.
Dude, like again, with everything in AI, like human productivity is going to be so useless in the next 5 to 10 years. But anyway, like
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
can do barely anything in a day.
All right. First episode done. Do you have any insight of the week or anything you want to recommend?
Inside of the week.
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna recommend some like resource or something each of us at the end of each episode, like something maybe related to the episode, something unrelated to the episode, something the audience can take away, and like if they want to further explore this topic or an adjacent topic. Do you have any resources? I do.
You can go first.
I think the Joe Rogan Matthew Walker episode
Okay, yeah.
that was like very insightful in this area, and I think that podcast episode, it's on YouTube, I believe. That was like kind of one of the first seeds in this. Like you listen to that episode and just listen.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're already down the sleep rabbit hole, you already have some experience in this area, I would recommend Peter Attia's book Outlive, because that kind of like expands upon the importance of sleep and like how it addresses other areas. And there's also a Huberman Lab episode on sleep and muscle growth if you care about the gym that I would recommend you listen to. I'll link it in the description as well. Anything Aadil as well?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have like an insight of the week related to this. Kind of an unrelated recommendation is Rob Henderson's new book, Troubled. Just finished it. It's really good. We're actually seeing him tomorrow in
Why
San
did you like
Francisco.
it?
Why did I like it? I think I wasn't really surprised by anything in the book, but it was just interesting to read about his life story. He went through the foster care system and ended up having a PhD from Cambridge in psychology. So it was just interesting.
Was it inspirational? Or just interesting?
I think it was just interesting. I don't think it was
not inspirational.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll meet Rob Henderson hopefully tomorrow and then give you guys an update on how that works. But
Yeah.
if you're here at the end, you're in the deep end of this podcast. And I'd love it if you can leave a review, because we're going to go ahead and start reading out reviews as well. We kind of got inspired by Not Overthinking in that regard. So if you leave a review, we will read out all the new reviews that have been left.
Yeah.
Please, I mean, 5 stars would be great. This is going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
At least 3, guys. At least 3 stars.
Yeah, at least
please.
3.
At least 3.
Hopefully this is 3.
But I think reviews are pretty bimodal. It's like 5 stars and 1 star,
Yeah.
and then like there's nothing in between, right?
If you don't like it, please leave a 3.
Yeah.
If you like it, leave a 5.
Yeah.
Because that really helps like new podcast that's getting launched. And
Yeah.
if you want to check out any of Aadil's stuff, follow his Instagram. He's kind of growing Instagram more right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, I don't really have stuff on Instagram. I made it
But just
last
follow it.
month, but
Yeah.
I have like 100 followers. So
Yeah. We want to get that.
You wanna get
And
that
also,
up?
okay, that's an incentive. If you DM Aadil on Instagram, he'll read it and respond to you. So follow him.
Sure,
and DM him.
sure.
Yeah, he'll read it and respond
If
to you.
so you're probably some sort of computer science related person. If you have questions about like my experience at Berkeley, how I got into Berkeley, my experience with computer science and math classes, experience in quant, you can DM me and I'll respond and
Yeah. Awesome,
help
guys.
you out.
We'll catch you in the next
Yeah.
episode. Thank
All
you
right, sounds good.
for listening.